Hey guys, Zimzorz here with a review of Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a side-scrolling, Castlevania-style roguelike game, and while that basic description may be accurate, it just begins to explain how thrilling and addictive this game can be. The game was released on May 10th, 2017 by Motion Twin, an independent studio based in Bordeaux, France. Founded in 2001, the company is a worker cooperative enterprise, which means that they are owned and self-operated by the employees. The story of Dead Cells is still a work in progress, but at this point I don't really find one necessary. I'm enjoying running through the levels and slaughtering everything I come across to worry about a reason why. Each level is procedurally generated by merging pre-designed sections in a random configuration, along with random placement of enemies and items, so every time you play, the game will be wildly different. The game's combat is similar to the Souls series, with different enemies that have certain behaviors the player can learn to defeat them easier. Frequent player death is part of the game, and does help the player learn to overcome obstacles. Each time you die, you restart at the beginning of the game, as there is no checkpoints, and the more you play, and the more you die, you will find yourself getting through the levels faster and easier each time. Throughout the game, the player will also encounter boss enemies known as Keepers. Currently there are two Keepers in the game, the Incompetent one and the Watcher. There is a wide assortment of items that the player can take advantage of. At this point, there is 25 different melee weapons, 19 ranged weapons, and 11 shields, as well as a variety of spells, skills, talismans, and amulets. When an enemy is killed, they drop cells, which you use to invest with a creature called the Collector, who you meet at the end of each level. The Collector will upgrade your skills or unlock new weapons and items in exchange for those cells. During your travels, you will also come across blueprints, which unlock new skills and weapons. You do need to bring these blueprints back to the Collector in order to take advantage of them, but if you die before you reach him, you will not be able to unlock that blueprint. You will also lose the cells you've gathered. Unlike Dark Souls, there is no way to retrieve your cells, nor is there a way to go backwards to previous levels. The door to each level will lock behind you, so you must always press on. Speaking of doors, throughout the game you will encounter many different kinds. Some you can open or bash through, others you need to find a switch to trigger them, and there's also time doors. If you manage to reach one of these before the countdown is complete, it will lead to extra treasure, and most likely some cells. Although I ignore these for the most part. I've rarely found anything interesting behind them to make it worth the rush to get to them. And finally, there's gold doors, which you can pay a certain amount of gold to get whatever treasure lies within the room. Some things you may find are new skills, weapons, or stat scrolls, which will help you in your adventure through the Dead Cells prison. One of the more unique aspects I found in the game was the ability to change the type of food that you come across throughout your travels, something I've never seen before. You can find the option to change it under Settings and then Diet. There is currently 5 different types of food styles. I'm not sure if they are thinking of adding more. There is Carnivore, which is obviously meat only, Castlevania-esque, which is similar to the food you'd find in Castlevania, Vegetarian, all veggies, Fruitarian, all fruit, and finally Monster, which is guts, innards, and other yummy things. I am currently using Castlevania-esque. As for the controls, they're excellent. They are very fast and fluid. I've never missed a jump or died because of the game. The combat in the game is, simply put, amazing. The graphics are pixely 2D goodness. All the enemies and levels are very well created and thought out. Very interesting. I really enjoyed exploring through the levels just to see the subtle things in the background that I may have missed the first time when I was blasting through them. The game audio, both sound effects and music, are top-notch. The music fits great with the feel of each level. You can tell Motion Twin put a lot of love and thought into both their graphics and the audio. Overall, this game is well worth the money. I would suggest it to anyone who is into this type of genre of game. You will not be disappointed. I went in with high expectations as I've seen a lot of people streaming this game since it was released, and I was not remotely let down. I give Dead Cells a rating of 4 out of 5 invaders.